The sun had just begun its slow descent behind the towering skyline when Margaret Whitmore set the dinner table, humming softly to herself. The clinking of plates against the polished wooden surface echoed through the grand yet eerily quiet house. It was an old habit, one she had perfected over the 15 years of her marriage to William Whitmore. Their life seemed picture-perfect to outsiders. A beautiful home, a respectable life, and a love story that stood the test of time. But beneath the surface, secrets simmered, waiting to erupt like a long-dormant volcano. Margaret glanced at the clock. William was late again. He had been distant for months now, making excuses about work, attending late meetings, and missing family dinners. At first, she had convinced herself that he was just busy. But the creeping unease in her gut told her otherwise. Her fingers tightened around the wine glass as she replayed the conversation she had overheard last week. A hushed, intimate murmur on his phone, a name she had never heard before. "I love you too," William had whispered before ending the call. Margaret's heart had clenched painfully, but she had told herself to be rational. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe, just maybe, she was being paranoid. But that night, she made a decision. She needed to know the truth. The next morning, when William left for work, Margaret did something she had never done before. She followed him. Dressed in a simple beige coat, her auburn hair tucked under a hat, she kept a safe distance as she trailed his black sedan through the winding streets of Boston. Her heart pounded against her ribcage when he took a turn that did not lead to his office but instead led to a quaint little house on the other side of town. Margaret parked a few houses away and watched as he got out, adjusting his tie before ringing the doorbell. A few seconds later, a woman answered the door. She was younger, with long blonde hair and a delicate frame. She threw her arms around William's neck and kissed him, pulling him inside. Margaret's stomach twisted. She felt the world tilt around her, nausea rising as she gripped the steering wheel. This was it. The proof she had been dreading. She reached for her phone with trembling fingers and took a few pictures. If she was going to confront him, she needed more than just her gut feeling. But before she could drive away, the woman stepped outside again, this time holding a little girl, no older than 5. The child clung to her mother's hand, laughing as William knelt and kissed her forehead. Margaret's breath caught in her throat. Her husband had a secret life. And a child. The night was heavy with tension when William walked through the front door. Margaret sat on the couch, gripping a glass of bourbon in her hands. "You're home late," she said, her voice eerily calm. William loosened his tie, sighing. "Long day at work. You know how it is." She chuckled bitterly. "Do I? Because from where I was sitting, your day didn't seem too stressful." His eyes darted to her face, wary. "What are you talking about?" Margaret set her phone on the coffee table and played the video she had taken. William's face drained of color as he watched himself kiss the woman, then kneel before the child. "Margaret, How long?" she interrupted, voice shaking. He ran a hand through his hair, looking anywhere but at her. 6 years. A sharp exhale left her lips. 6 years. You've been living this lie for 6 years. She laughed, a sound void of humor. Who is she? Her name is Evelyn. And the child? William swallowed hard. Our daughter. The words hit Margaret like a physical blow. Our daughter? No. William. Her daughter. Because I was never given the chance to be a mother, was I? Tears blurred her vision. They had tried for years to have children, only for every attempt to end in heartbreak. And all the while, he had a child with someone else. Margaret stood abruptly, knocking the glass over. I want you out. Now. Margaret, please. It wasn't just about sex. I love her too. I love them both. A chill ran through her. You love her. You love them. And where did that leave me, William? Your consolation prize. She stepped closer, eyes blazing. You don't get to have it all. You don't get to rip my heart out and expect me to stand by while you play house with another family. He sighed, defeated. I never wanted to hurt you. You didn't just hurt me, she whispered. You destroyed me. That night, Margaret didn't sleep. Instead, she made a call. If William thought he could walk away unscathed, he was wrong. He had built his career on a pristine reputation, a real estate mogul with a perfect marriage. She had the evidence to burn his empire to the ground. The next morning, the scandal broke. Photos, videos, details of William's affair flooded the media. Clients withdrew from deals, his company stocks plummeted, and within days, he was forced to resign. Margaret watched from a distance, sipping her coffee as she read the headlines. There was no satisfaction, no joy, only an aching emptiness. She had won, but at what cost? Months passed. The divorce was finalized. William tried to reach out, but she ignored him. Healing was slow, but with each passing day, she felt lighter, freer. One evening, as she walked along the beach, feeling the cool breeze against her skin, she realized something. She was finally ready to move on. The past was behind her, and the future, that was entirely hers to shape.